Erie. It is the first time since 2001 these ships have made their return to Detroit. We are here along the Riverwalk at the Port Authority right next to the Renaissance Center. That's where you can come and view these ships for free, or you can pay to be part of Sail Detroit Festival and get exclusive access to tour these ships and learn all about the sailing history. We are going to take you on board some of these ships and talk to many of the people involved in this festival. But first, how about a history lesson, thanks to producer Mary? We're going to start with the Alliance. Its home port is Suttons Bay in northern Michigan, and it typically cruises the Great Lakes. The ship is used for sail training, summer camps, workshops, and more. It is 63 feet tall. The Empire Sandy cruises the Toronto Harbor and Lake Ontario. It weighs 740 tons and can carry up to 275 passengers. It's 116 feet and 11,000 square feet of sail. The next one, the Ernestina Marisi, comes to us from New Bedford, Massachusetts. This tall ship was originally launched in 1894. The ship was originally part of a fishing fleet and was later used to bring immigrants to the U.S. It has since been restored and is now used for training, private charters, deep sea voyages and adventures. This one is 115 feet tall. And the fourth ship, the Pride of Baltimore, is of course based in Baltimore. It typically cruises the East Coast along with parts of Canada and in Europe. It's available as a charter and is used as an ambassador for the state of Maryland. It has a rig height of 107 feet. All right, now joining me now is John Jamie, and he is the Director of Port Operations for the Detroit Wayne County Port Authority. John, thank you so much for joining me here.
You're welcome.
I'm not sure how to ask this without sounding like a little kid, but how awesome is this?
It's awesome. I mean, you know, that was
right on cue.
That was on cue. The beauty of our waterfront just alone is incredible, and then you throw in these tall ships. It's just going to be an incredible event.
Yeah.
So we're really, really excited about it.
So this is the first time since 2001, I believe, the ships have been here. What did it take to finally get them back?
Well, thanks to my boss, Mark Schrupp, as on cue.
They know we're live.
Yeah. Our board of directors, my boss, Mark Schrupp, we all got together and we said, you know what, 2001 was such a fantastic, memorable event.
Yeah.
You know, the tall ships were coming back to the Great Lakes once every 5 to 7 years. We said, we have to do this.
Yeah. Do you have a favorite ship? Or is that like choosing a favorite child?
It's like choosing a favorite child, but
you still have one?
I will tell you, I've sailed on the Pride of Baltimore, so that one I have experience.
Yeah.
Putting up those sails, massive job. It's all manpower.
And that's the part that just blows me away here, kind of literally, right? Is that there's no motors. Like this is old school sail. How difficult is it to man these things?
It's, you know, it takes a crew. It takes a lot of muscle strength. I was much younger when I did it. I will tell you that, you know, when you pull those lines, I mean, a little guy like me, it lifted me right up in the air. It's a lot of work. But once those sails are full, there's nothing like it.
Right.
There's nothing like it because you're sailing, no motors, and just the noise of the water and the wind is fantastic.
Yeah. Okay, so for those who have never experienced a tall ship like this before and they're watching this considering coming down, what do you tell them?
I tell them that you have to see them in person on board to really appreciate how cool these ships are. You know, it's a step back in time 150 years ago, and when they're like living museums or working museums. And for you to come down and get on board, meet the crew, see what life is like, a real below decks experience.
Right. And that's kind of the cool part about it too, is that not only do you get to see the ship, but you get to talk to the crew that's sailing around with it.
And the crew are from all over the country, and in some cases the world. I mean, they come in and some of them pay to do this. Because not every day you get to work on one of these magnificent vessels.
Right. And any idea how many ships like this are left in the world?
I don't have, I can tell you that they're in the hundreds. There's a lot of them.
Right.
And they all, you know, sail in different areas, but Tall Ships America, which is the United States organization, they're kind of the parental organization of all these ships, and they're organize events. Yeah, so they have quite a few.
Okay, so someone considering coming down today, what's the logistics? Like, where should we park? How do we get around the area?
So there's plenty of parking downtown. There's a lot going on. There's a lot to experience. We have parking right next to the Port Authority.
Yep.
There's a parking deck right across the street. We have plenty of lots down on the waterfront just east of the Renaissance Center. Parking is relatively easy.
Right, which is fun to say and nice to say for a downtown area like this.
It's for a and I think it's pretty reasonable considering that you're not just coming to one event. You can park and come down and you can see the tall ships. You can walk on the Riverwalk.
Yeah,
There's a huge festival going on next door at Hart Plaza. So there's lots to do.
Lots to do. Okay, make a whole weekend. John, thank you so much. Appreciate your time.
You're welcome.
Can't wait to get on one of those things.
Okay.
All right, so if you do want to come out this weekend, you need to get some tickets for the morning session, evening, or you can do both. Morning tickets allow you to check out the ships from 10 until 2 o'clock in the afternoon. With the evening tickets, you can come from 2 to 6 o'clock at night. It's $25 for adults, $15 for children 12 and under, military members and seniors. A family pass costs $60 and an anytime pass is $100. The Sail Detroit Festival runs through Sunday. Alrighty, so much to do here at Sail Detroit for the tall ships. We are going to have your big headlines of the morning and some weekend weather, which includes some heat and some steam. And then guess what? We're going on the tall ships. Don't call them a boat for an educational lesson. Stay with us. Local 4 Live from the Detroit Riverfront. We'll be right back.
Now, forewarned weather with Exact Track 4D.
And good Friday morning, everybody. After sunshine the last few days and an isolated thunderstorm, continuing a little bit of relief in the air quality index as we head throughout our Friday, back into the moderate range today. So you're probably seeing a little bit of haze in the atmosphere as you're waking up this morning. No air quality alert for today, but you may need to see a little bit of that haze as you grab those sunglasses with some of that sunshine heading throughout our Friday. Exact Track 40 radar this morning, a clean sweep to start the morning, but off to the northwest of Metro Detroit, north of Grand Rapids. I've been watching an area of thunderstorms this morning continue to work off to the north and east into the northern end of the state. So while we're dry to start today, much like we've seen the past couple days, I am going to keep the option open for an isolated thunderstorm this afternoon and into this evening. 70 degrees this morning here in downtown Detroit, so a little warmer today than we've been the past few mornings, all thanks to that south-southeast wind at about 3 miles an hour. That southerly flow, thanks to a warm front off to the west of Metro Detroit, lifting to the north, northern Illinois into Wisconsin and over Lake Michigan. That's going to increase that southerly flow today and bring in that summer heat and humidity as we go throughout our Friday through the weekend and into early next week as well. Extreme heat alerts already up into the Midwestern United States from Minnesota all the way down to Oklahoma, Texas, Arkansas, northwestern Louisiana, and even into New Mexico and Arizona, where Phoenix is under an extreme heat warning for today. Not expecting heat advisories for Metro Detroit, but it is going to be much hotter and much more humid as we go from today and into the upcoming weekend. Clouds and radar forecast keeps us dry. Lots of sunshine all the way through lunchtime today. But once we get past 2 to 3 o'clock this afternoon, we will start watching the radar for that isolated thunderstorm. I do think most places will stay dry, and we may even hang on to it until about 10 to 11 o'clock tonight. What I am keeping my eyes on is north of the region overnight. Clouds and radar forecasts suggesting a decaying line of thunderstorms moving into central and northern Michigan and clipping the thumb before sunrise tomorrow morning. So areas from Sandusky on north may see an isolated shower or thunderstorm after midnight tonight and before sunrise tomorrow morning. But I think the rest of us, a little bit of cloud cover, otherwise mainly clear skies expected overnight tonight and into early on Saturday morning. We keep the dry weather around until early next week, late Monday night through Wednesday. That's when we start to ramp up those thunderstorm chances. Until then, summer still in full effect. 90s on the way Saturday all the way through Monday. But starting today, once you factor in the humidity, heat index values, 90 degrees or better, and we could head for the mid to upper 90s for heat index values from Sunday and into early next week on Monday. 70s in the morning, we're into the 80s by lunchtime, upper 80s for a daytime high with that isolated thunderstorm this afternoon. Low to mid 90s through the weekend and into early next week before those storm chances arrive, and we're still into the upper 80s and drying things out by the time we get to Thursday.
Good morning, everybody. The family of Ashley Elkins testifying this week about the last moments they were able to see her as that case against the man who's charged in her murder moves forward. DeAndre Booker charged with killing Elkins. A judge could determine today if he will stand trial for it. Wednesday, Ashley's mother told the court about seeing her daughter over FaceTime just after midnight on January 1st. Prosecutors believe Booker killed her at his Roseville apartment in January, but her body has not been found. If you're on the TV side of things, watching the Today Show, you might want to try us on Local 4 Plus. It's right there in your app menu on your TV. We have another 90 minutes of Local 4 Live. Nick Monticelli's live on the Detroit riverfront talking tall ships and their return after more than 2 decades to the Detroit area. And then we're looking at the largest garage sale in the state happening this week. All of that next on Local 4 Plus.
From downtown Detroit, Local 4 Live starts right now.
It sure does. Welcome back to Local 4 Live, everybody. Now you're looking at Thanks to Drone 4 at the Alliance right here on the Detroit River. I'm joined by Rachel Ratcliffe, right?
That's me.
Okay, I'm hoping I didn't make up your last name as we go. We want to learn all about the Alliance here. That's kind of your job, right? I mean, your Alliance puts the Schooner Alliance.
Yes, yes.
The whole education purpose is to learn and kind of take some things in.
Yeah, so Schooner Alliance is one of 2 vessels with Inland Seas Education Association. We are delighted to be represented here with Sail Detroit.
Okay.
We have a history of working here in Detroit and on the river. Our mission is to actually talk about Great Lakes education.
Yes.
If you come down and see these vessels this weekend, each boat has its own purpose.
Right.
So it's really fun to get on board and see what they're up to.
Well, let's walk around.
Let's
tell
see.
me the purpose of the Alliance. What does this one do?
So this one here, we are 104 feet.
Okay.
And we use all of those feet to work with youth and talk about the Great Lakes food web. So we take plankton samples.
Okay.
We snag mud off of the bottom, and all of our students have the opportunity to raise the sails.
No kidding, really?
Yeah, it is. It's really a treat.
That's hard to do, though, isn't it?
It is hard to do. And I'll tell you what, during a 3.5-hour program of 5th grade class, they need a little energy.
I would imagine. Okay, so let's pretend I am a 5th grader and I've never been on this ship before. Where do you start the tour?
Okay, we'll bring you on board, and you
Okay.
have a seat here. Test it out. What do you think?
Oh, this is perfect.
This is a
Very
good one.
comfortable. It's great. I love this spot.
That's a good spot. You've got a great view. So we'll start here. We get a fish sample. We go out. We test water clarity. But then it's sail raising time. Would you like to get your hands on the line?
Absolutely.
Let's see what it feels like.
Okay.
So these are the lines here have fancy names. They're called halyards.
Halyards?
And you
How do you spell that?
H-A-L spelling test. Yard. I can spell. It's early. But these lines here, and all of our students are accompanied by a crew member.
Okay.
But just feel this line in your hands. Tell me what you think. Softer, harder than you expected?
It's harder than I expected,
Yeah.
honestly. Yeah, right.
And we're pulling up these sails, which you can also get a feel on right here. These are made out of a heavy plastic.
These
so
are so much thicker and heavier than I thought they would be. I
Yeah.
always imagined just a very light sail.
Yeah, and we really, so the whole aspect is about demystifying being on the water and just like
Right.
an adventurous learning experience.
Yeah.
Everything our students need, you know?
So fun. Okay, now actually while you're here in Detroit,
Yes.
people, unless I'm wrong, can actually get on the ship and go for a ride, right?
Yes, so we are so lucky down here at Sail Detroit. We are selling tickets for sail away tours. We're doing
Okay.
4 a day.
Okay.
And we come out, we stuff the boat, get you nice and cozy.
Yep.
And we go out for an 1.5-hour tour on the water. Wow. And you get to see the boats from another angle.
That's
you have to look at 'em this way,
Okay,
yeah.
so if we go all the way to the bow,
Yes, yes.
what's out here?
Over here is
More sails.
More sails. Indeed, very many more sails. This here is something that we use to pull up the anchor.
Okay.
Staysail, and then over here is called the head rig. And actually, wow, look at that flake on that head rig. It's really something.
What are we looking at?
So if you look, there's a sail tucked on the bowsprit, and our first mate Avery does this really fantastic daisy chain flake over there. It's
Oh,
just-
you're talking about, okay, for layman terms, like the rope over there, right?
yeah. Indeed. It's a really well-kept ship. We have a great crew,
Yeah.
and I hope we get to meet some folks down here this
Okay,
weekend.
so speaking about the crew, like
Yeah.
the crew goes with the ship, right?
Yes, we have 3 team members living on board right now.
Okay.
I myself am in Sutton's Bay with
Yep.
our organization.
Yep.
I got 2 cats and I miss them, but they understand
They
that
don't
I'm
wanna go
busy.
sailing with
No,
you?
well, one of them might, but you know, it's different per boat. Some boats have cats, most boats don't.
Yeah.
But yeah, and so most of the crew are living on board. We have a galley.
There's a galley down
There
there?
is a galley, so we gotta eat. You want to see if we can peek through a porthole?
Let's do it.
Let's see.
Okay, let's see. I'll let Eric lead the way. Eric is the man behind the camera. Eric, you go on the tour.
Okay, so over here, this is our main deck area.
Okay.
And then we have a step up back here to something called the quarter deck, coming at you. And we'll head back. If we're going backwards, we're going aft towards the helm or the wheel. And then these doors this way. Hello. We have some crew. We're getting breakfast prepared right now.
What's for breakfast, everybody?
Oh, we've got some
Hash browns?
some, eggs.
Gosh, it's like a whole house down there. That is so cool. I've always wondered, and
Yes.
please tell me if this is a dumb question, but if there's no wind and you
Yes.
can't move, like, is there a backup plan?
Oh,
What-
there absolutely is. That's a great question.
What happens?
We have a John Deere engine on board.
Do you really?
Yes, we do. She's diesel powered, and that's commercially necessary because people want to get home for dinner. You know what I
Yep.
mean?
Right.
So there have been sails with no wind. We call those bake sails.
What are they?
Bake sails.
Bake sales?
Oh, sure, because you go out, there's no wind, you just sit there and you bake.
Oh,
Yeah.
that would be the brownies and cookies.
Exactly. But I'll tell you what, it doesn't stop us from doing bring our science on board.
Right,
So
right.
if you come and visit us in Sutton's Bay too, we got the full suite of things, wind or no wind, rain or without it. We
Yeah.
go out and are looking at all kinds of cool stuff.
That is so cool. Okay, this is kind of your soapbox moment. If somebody wants to come down here, they're like, should I pay the extra to go for a ride on the Alliance? We should,
Oh,
right?
my vote is yes. I have to say, I feel very lucky. These other boats definitely come down. It's such a treat to have so many of these boats in one place. I mean, treat like a true holiday.
Right, right.
So rare. But if you have the opportunity to come out and catch some of this wind and see what it feels like to have these lines in your hands, and then find out a lot of these boats have volunteer programs. Our boat has a volunteer program.
You can volunteer and work on the
yeah,
ship?
I've got volunteers on board right now. Yeah.
Can I
and we'll
sign up
teach you-
right now?
Absolutely.
Do I have to go back to work?
No, well, I don't know. That's a you thing.
My executive producer might be mad if I do that.
No, but we could get you out here and you can stay on board with us, get the full experience.
No kidding. That is so cool. Okay, now how many stops have you made, or will you be making over kind of like a season?
Yeah, so this is our quick math. I think this is our 4th stop. We
Okay.
were in Duluth with
Yeah.
the ships. Our other vessels spent some time in Lake Superior with Michigan Tech University.
Okay, okay.
After this one, we're headed to Alpena, and then we're headed home. So I think in total, our org has made 5 stops.
But this is your favorite one, right?
Oh, without a doubt.
I mean, honestly, it is kind of cool to stand here and be like, America, Canada.
Oh, yeah. It's fun when your cell phone pings you, too, when you're bouncing around
Just
out
make
there.
sure you don't get the extra
Oh,
fees.
yeah.
Trust me, it happens. Rachel, it was a pleasure. Thank
Hey,
you so much for the
thank
tour.
you.
This was incredible. Okay, Eric Yettal is the man behind the camera. Should we stay on board or should we go back to land? Eric, you want to stay on board? Okay, that's the plan. We're going to stay here, or maybe not. Producer Mary has to tell me what we're actually doing. But first, we're going to take a break. We'll be right back on Local 4 Live. So here's a look over Drone 4 at all these amazing tall ships. Now we'll take that break.
forewarned weather with Exact Track 4D.
And good Friday morning, everybody. After sunshine the last few days and an isolated thunderstorm, continuing a little bit of relief in the air quality index as we head throughout our Friday, back into the moderate range today. So you're probably seeing a little bit of haze in the atmosphere as you're waking up this morning. No air quality alert for today, but you may need to see a little bit of that haze as you grab those sunglasses with some of that sunshine heading throughout our Friday. Exact Track 40 radar this morning, a clean sweep to start the morning, but off to the northwest of Metro Detroit, north of Grand Rapids. I've been watching an area of thunderstorms this morning continue to work off to the north and east into the northern end of the state. So while we're dry to start today, much like we've seen the past couple days, I am going to keep the option open for an isolated thunderstorm this afternoon and into this evening. 70 degrees this morning here in downtown Detroit, so a little warmer today than we've been the past few mornings, all thanks to that south-southeast wind at about 3 miles an hour. That southerly flow, thanks to a warm front off to the west of Metro Detroit, lifting to the north, northern Illinois into Wisconsin and over Lake Michigan. That's going to increase that southerly flow today and bring in that summer heat and humidity as we go throughout our Friday through the weekend and into early next week as well. Extreme heat alerts already up into the Midwestern United States from Minnesota all the way down to Oklahoma, Texas, Arkansas, northwestern Louisiana, and even into New Mexico and Arizona, where Phoenix is under an extreme heat warning for today. Not expecting heat advisories for Metro Detroit, but it is going to be much hotter and much more humid as we go from today and into the upcoming weekend. Clouds and radar forecast keeps us dry. Lots of sunshine all the way through lunchtime today. But once we get past 2 to 3 o'clock this afternoon, we will start watching the radar for that isolated thunderstorm. I do think most places will stay dry, and we may even hang on to it until about 10 to 11 o'clock tonight. What I am keeping my eyes on is north of the region overnight. Clouds and radar forecasts suggesting a decaying line of thunderstorms moving into central and northern Michigan and clipping the thumb before sunrise tomorrow morning. So areas from Sandusky on north may see an isolated shower or thunderstorm after midnight tonight and before sunrise tomorrow morning. But I think the rest of us, a little bit of cloud cover, otherwise mainly clear skies expected overnight tonight and into early on Saturday morning. We keep the dry weather around until early next week, late Monday night through Wednesday. That's when we start to ramp up those thunderstorm chances. Until then, summer still in full effect. 90s on the way Saturday all the way through Monday. But starting today, once you factor in the humidity, heat index values, 90 degrees or better, and we could head for the mid to upper 90s for heat index values from Sunday and into early next week on Monday. 70s in the morning, we're into the 80s by lunchtime, upper 80s for a daytime high with that isolated thunderstorm this afternoon. Low to mid 90s through the weekend and into early next week before those storm chances arrive, and we're still into the upper 80s and drying things out by the time we get to Thursday.
All right, Brian, thank you very much. Live here on the Detroit riverfront for Sail Detroit and the tall ships. Your news headlines when we return, but first, a live look thanks to our friends in Windsor at the Detroit riverfront and the tall ships you can see from the other side of the river. Local 4 Live will be right back. current spot. Welcome back, everybody. It's a Local 4 Live. Drone 4 is looking live over the Detroit riverfront and all the tall ships that are parked here for sale. Detroit, what a beautiful shot of the Port Authority here on the riverfront. It is a beautiful day to check out all of these tall ships. Thank you so much for being with us. I'm Nick Monticelli. While we're out here, we do want to get you to some of your news headlines as well. We're going to start with the man accused of killing Ashley Elkins is heading back to court today. DeAndre Booker is charged with the murder of Ashley Elkins. On Wednesday, Ashley's mother testified about the last time she saw her daughter over FaceTime just after midnight on January 1st. Her body has never been found, but prosecutors believe Booker killed her at his Roseville apartment in January. A judge will decide if the case against him is strong enough to move forward. Another man is going to prison for the murder of his 8-year-old stepson in Detroit. This is Jamar Hill. He has been sentenced to 18 to 40 years in prison after pleading guilty to second-degree murder in the death of his stepson, Adrian. Prosecutors say Hill and the boy's mother, Kentoria Moss, brutally beat the child last November. Moss is still awaiting trial. She has a preliminary hearing set for August 29th. Let's take a live look at the White House on this Friday morning. Right now, where President Trump's tariff plan has been in place for about 24 hours. Jay Gray is in Washington with a look at those tariffs and possible economic sanctions on Russia that could start at midnight.
A full day in, and President Trump celebrating his tariff plan. Import fees on more than 90 countries now set at between 10 and 50%.
We have a country that's the hottest country right now anywhere in the world.
But feeling the heat, perhaps the most right now, consumers.
Gonna hit us very hard.
And business owners.
It doesn't feel like you're standing on solid ground. It's hard to make decisions.
A new CNBC poll evidence of that concern. With prices climbing, the president's approval numbers are falling on the economy, tariffs, and cost of living.
They're concerned that inflation is rising faster than their incomes. They are negative on tariffs by a 45 to 51, and they see tariffs as hurting workers and raising prices.
With the new tariffs now in place and more on microchips, semiconductors, and pharmaceuticals likely on the way, today, another deadline from the White House. The president threatening to increase economic sanctions on Russia if Vladimir Putin doesn't call for a ceasefire in his war with Ukraine by midnight.
Now it's going to be up to him. We're going to see what he has to say. It's going to be up to him.
Talks between the White House and Kremlin clearly intensifying ahead of what sources say could be a face-to-face meeting between the leaders as early as next week. Jay Gray, NBC News, Washington.
All right, Jay, thank you so much. When we come back, we're going to take you to one of the other cool things happening this weekend, a garage sale that spans 200 miles. And of course, Local 4 Live is here with the tall ships. My buddy Eric Yatza over on this camera, taking you for another spin around the area. All the ships that are out here on the Detroit riverfront, we're going to go back out there in just a moment. Local 4 Live returns in just a minute. Welcome back, everybody, to Local 4 Live. Another view thanks to our good friends over in Windsor on the other side of the Detroit River, looking at the Port Authority and the tall ships that have docked here for the weekend, so you have a great opportunity to enjoy this weekend's Sail Detroit Festival. Now, even though this is an incredible festival, this is not the only fun thing happening this weekend, not just in Metro Detroit, but almost the entire state of Michigan. Have you ever heard of Michigan's longest garage sale? It's more than 180 miles along the US 12 Heritage Trail, spanning from Detroit all the way to New Buffalo on the west side of the state. Local 4 photojournalist Hans Eilenfeld and his family followed that trail and shot for days last year. Here's some of those treasures they found.
Michigan Ave is a historic drive connecting downtown Detroit with Chicago, what they call the Miracle Mile through their shopping district. But the best shopping has to be every second weekend in August, when the Mid-State turns it into Michigan's longest garage sale. Of course, it's always fun when a neighborhood or a city does a garage sale weekend, but this one starts here in Detroit and goes all the way to New Buffalo, spanning 180 miles of garage sales. My family went last year, and it was a blast. We started on the east side and followed the sun west. Prepare to stop at sales in yards, parking lots, garages, churches, blocks, sheds, train yards, town squares, and fields. There were pieces of history, giant plastic primates, piano players, pocket knives, and Pog. We saw trophies and trophies, collectibles for every kind of collection. Every kind of collection. Some incredible mugs. Chairs to sit around the dining room table while playing board games, including every kind of Monopoly, even classic editions. For added fun, we started our Saturday with a family breakfast where we made bingo cards for what we might see. Step stools, Santa figurines. My nephew won the first bingo. And one of my sisters got runner-up when she surprisingly spotted a sickle. We ended Saturday at a winery in Brooklyn, Michigan. And as the sun set, headed to New Buffalo to an Airbnb. And we set out from there to work our way home on Sunday. I can't recommend Michigan's longest yard sale enough. Doing it with friends and family made it even better. People were selling their art, junk, food, and some of the deals were too good to believe.
How awesome is that? I love the junk tea because I would have bought that in a heartbeat. That garage sale runs until Sunday. On the website, they talk about what's happening, but it's actually running all weekend long. Our coverage of the Sail Detroit fantastic Tall Ship Festival happening right now. We're going to join Local 4 in just a moment, and Local 4 Plus continues on Local 4 Live, a live look thanks to Drone 4. More news and more headlines, more ships when we come back.
From downtown Detroit, Local 4 Live starts right now.
Welcome back to Local 4 Live. I'm Nick Monticelli, live along the Detroit riverfront. Drone 4 is hanging out showing you these beautiful, majestic, tall ships that have docked here for the weekend, and that means you get a beautiful opportunity to not only check these out, but you can go aboard them and maybe even ride one down the Detroit River. It has been a fun morning so far, but now we're going to come back out here live and talk to the folks who run all the tall ships in all of America. Aaron is with Tall Ships of America, right? I'm going to give you a promotion. First of all, and please forgive me, there are lots of people who don't even know that Tall Ships of America exist. What is the organization? What do you do?
So we are a nonprofit. We are based in Newport, Rhode Island. We've been around since 1973.
Wow.
The Tall Ships are our members. So in addition to events like this, we do scholarships and grants. We have an annual conference. We do regional meetings, and we also work with the Coast Guard and other regulatory agencies to help with the ships and safety on board the ships and rigging and stuff like that.
Can you dive more into the scholarships and grants thing? The scholarships for tall ships? How does this work?
Yeah. So the ships are crewed by professional mariners. So the captain and mates all have their licensing. So through the Coast Guard. So what we do is we provide scholarships and grants for professional development, and then we also provide opportunities for kids to sail on board the ships.
That's so cool.
It's very cool.
So I know you're making stops all around the country, but this one is the best one, right?
Yes. So
I'm sure you say that to everybody, though.
No. It's between us. It's between us. So we actually do the Tall Ships Challenge events all around the United States, like you said, Pacific Coast, Atlantic Coast, Gulf Coast, and our inland seas, the Great Lakes. So this year we're in the Great Lakes, and we're traveling in all 5 of the Great Lakes this summer. So Detroit is about the halfway point. From here, the ships will go to Alpena, Michigan, Midland, Ontario, and then our last port is Erie, Pennsylvania, and then they'll depart.
There is something, and I'm not just tooting our own horn, but there is something special about being in Michigan and doing this on the Great Lakes, isn't there?
100%. I love the Great Lakes. I love coming here. I've been doing this since 2006. I think this is like my 9th rotation in the Great Lakes, and I always look forward to coming back. It's really a lot of fun. The people are so welcoming. I'm from New England, so the Midwestern charm is absolutely true.
Right, and you're a Lions fan too, right?
You really put me on.
Yep, and it's live. You can't do anything about it. What are the reactions in all these cities, but especially the Midwest and the Great Lakes, when these things pull up and just hordes of people show up to take a look at them?
It's, you're coming down to the waterfront. You're seeing what the waterfront had looked like, 100, 150 years ago. Right. So this is how goods moved around the Great Lakes. So when you come down and you interact with these crews, you're actually touching a piece of history and learning about that history is still alive and well today, and in fact we're trying to bring it into the future. So having these ships here and enabling, allowing people to come on board and touch and see and talk, it just allows them to be in touch with
literally touch history.
Yes, exactly.
As that bee flies around your head, I think he left there.
It's okay.
Okay, so the ships themselves, though, can you kind of walk us through the process of not only maintaining them, but keeping them historically accurate?
Yes.
Minus the engines that go on there in case there's no wind?
So yes, they do have modern technology on board.
Yeah, right.
That is, yes. That some of our other members do not have engines, but for the sake of this conversation, these ships, yes, do all have engines. It takes a lot of maintenance. It takes a lot of time. It takes a lot of care. You have to be really passionate about it. When you do talk to the crew, they are so proud to show off their ship. They work hard to make sure that the ship looks as good as it does. They take a lot of pride in it. And well, they should. These are beautiful vessels.
Right.
And they're maintaining it for the future. You have to maintain it because water just eats away at everything. As we all know, it is not a friend. It is not a friend. But yeah, so it does take a lot of maintenance. These people are very skilled at what they do. They call it marlinspike those like traditional rigging and stuff like that.
Sure.
Those skills, and so
it's a difficult job too.
I think so. They might say no, but I think it is. It's a lot of sanding and painting and varnishing and You have to go up into the rigging, and you have to maintain all the lines that you see.
Right.
Everything on board the ship has been touched by a human hand. It is maintained by a human hand.
That's incredible. We were just on board the Alliance. Because I had no idea. I didn't realize the sails themselves were so thick and so heavy.
Yes, yeah, they are, and they sew them. They sew them by hand.
By hand?
Yes, they do. We have sail makers in our fleet. You actually go to sail loft, and you actually see them doing them by hand. Yeah, it's cool.
We should go to that next.
We should do that next. We'll get you in there.
Okay, deal. I can't sew to save my life.
No, neither can I. It's totally fine. We'll do great. We'll do great.
If someone's watching this and thinking, I don't know anything about this, maybe I should go down there, what do you tell them?
I say come down, see the ships, talk to the crew. If you can, I think Alliance is sold out, but many of these vessels, Empire Sandy is based in Toronto, Alliance is based in Suttons Bay. We have a wonderful fleet of Great Lakes vessels, so even if you're not from Detroit, or if you are, there are ships that are here all the time. So Google it, go to our website, tallshipsamerica.org, and you can look by location.
But you also have a great opportunity to talk to the crew that lives on these ships.
Yes, they do. This is their home. Yeah, they have cooks on board, and they sleep on board.
How's the food?
Very good.
Is it really?
You have to. If you don't have a happy crew, it's not a happy boat. So yeah, if you don't have good food, you don't have a happy crew, and that's not a happy boat.
Can I apply that to all the crew members working back here? Is that how that works?
As someone who takes it very seriously, yes. I was like, really good food. Awesome. They had lemon pepper chicken yesterday on board Ernestina Morrissey. Yeah, I know. I was invited for lunch. We'll get you on board.
Deal. As long as the chicken's still around.
Yeah.
Erin, thank you so much. It was a pleasure meeting you.
You're very welcome.
If you want to come out this weekend, you can get the tickets to do so for the morning session, evening, or both. Morning tickets allow you to check out the ships from 10 o'clock in the morning until 2 o'clock in the afternoon. With evening tickets, you can come from 2 to 6 o'clock at night. It's $25 for the adults, $15 for children ages 12 and under, military members, and seniors. A family pass costs $60, and an anytime pass is $100. The Sail Detroit Festival runs today through Sunday. Okay, we're going to come back in just a minute. We'll look at your top headlines as we take a live look over the tall ships thanks to Drone 4. All the beautiful things happening out here. Again, a picturesque Friday morning on the Detroit River. Local 4 Live will be right back after this. Welcome back to Local 4 Live, everybody. A live picture of the tall ships. You're looking at Empire Sandy right there as photographer extraordinaire Eric Yatta tilts all the way up to show you that tall mast and where the sails will go when the sails are put back on there. The tall ships here for Sail Detroit in the Detroit River all weekend long. We're actually going to go aboard one of those ships a little later on the show, but let's tell you just a little bit more about them. We're going to start with the Alliance, which we were already on just a few moments ago. That launched back in 1995. Its home port is Suttons Bay in northern Michigan, and it typically cruises the Great Lakes. Now, the ship is used for sail training, summer camps, workshops, and more. The Alliance has volunteers who donate nearly 8,000 hours aboard every single year. The schooner is 105 feet long and 63 feet tall. Now, as we just showed you a live picture of Empire Sandy, another photo of Empire Sandy. This one launched back in 1942 and mainly cruises the Toronto Harbor and Lake Ontario out of its home port in Toronto. It weighs 740 tons and can carry up to 275 passengers. It is 116 feet long and 11,000 square feet of sail. The Empire Sandy was originally built as a World War II rescue tugboat that then turned into a topsail in 1982. We are going to head back onto the ships in just a minute, but first, let's get to some of your headlines from here at home and around the country on your Friday morning. Starting with the fact that it's been more than 3 years since Jordan DeMay took his own life under the pressure of sextortion. Today, one of the men behind that scheme will be sentenced for playing a role in the teen's death. Gerald Williams pleaded guilty in connection with the operation that extorted nearly $180,000 from multiple victims, including DeMay. That scheme involved posing as teenage girls online to solicit explicit photos and then demanding money under the threat of exposure. He will be sentenced this afternoon. 3 others have already been sentenced. A Melvindale police officer expected in court today, facing multiple charges in 3 separate incidents of alleged misconduct. Take a look here. The case against Officer Matthew Furman spans from 2021 to just last month. The first incident is from July of 2021 during a chase in Dearborn. Prosecutors say after officers tackled the suspect, Furman repeatedly kicked the man's leg and ankle during the arrest. Now, fast forward to this April at a Melvindale school parking lot. Officer Furman allegedly tried to forcibly remove a Detroit woman from her car during a traffic stop. When that did not work, prosecutors say he used his taser on her with her children watching from the back seat. The most recent incident happened just weeks ago on July 20th during another traffic stop. Furman is accused of tasing a Melvindale man in the back, kicking him, and later grabbing him by the hair, slamming him against a fire truck. Furman now faces multiple charges, including assault and battery. If convicted on the most serious charges, he could face up to 5 years in prison. Well, over in Wayne County, an assisted living center in Westland announces sudden closure amid a history of violations. Violations include expired medications being found in carts, incomplete shower logs, wounds not being treated, and staff members alleging the residents' call lights were broken. Shantae Passmore explains what's being done to find a home for the displaced residents.
The facility, which offers assistance through the Section 8 Housing Choice Voucher Program, was taken over by Alcor Senior Management 4 years ago. The company made the announcement at the end of July, giving residents just over a month to relocate. In a statement, the company said, quote, "We took over the Westland house after it had already defaulted and was in serious decline. Despite investing over $3 million in doing everything we could to turn it around, the lasting effects of prior mismanagement, COVID, and rising care needs made recovery impossible." But reports from Michigan's Department of Licensing and Regulatory Affairs reveal a long list of investigations dating back to 2022. In those reports, allegations like residents not being showered consistently or one resident having an open sore to the bone were found to be true. We heard from 2 former employees who served food to residents and say they were let go a week before the facility announced it was closing. They say they witnessed residents being neglected.
We are dietary, so when we do trades, we go in their rooms and we can call for somebody for help. They still be on the floor for like 3 hours. Or it could be a whole day if it turns out to.
They also say the decision to close didn't come as a shock.
It kind of hit us hard because we do love these residents. But towards the managers, it's on them.
Stand by.
All right, that was Shantae Passmore reporting. The company said it is working with the Department of Housing and Urban Development to relocate residents, and that 22 of the 30 residents currently living there have already found new housing. All righty, it is time to go to a quick break here on Local 4 Live. A live look over these tall ships that sail Detroit, thanks to, again, our friends over in Windsor. When we come back, we're going on a boat! Welcome back to Local 4 Live, everybody. A live look at this beautiful day along the Detroit River, thanks to, this one is Mr. Yetta. What a great photographer he is. He's always smiling, always happy, rarely ever grumpy, as long as he's well fed. And while we are celebrating these tall ships you see in these live pictures and behind me here, let's head back in time, shall we, to the very first tall ship sailing along the Detroit River. Those tall ships date back to before the city of Detroit even existed. Europeans first recorded navigating the Detroit River in the 1600s. The Iroquois traded furs with Dutch colonists at New Amsterdam by traveling through the Detroit River. But that all started to change with one very important tall ship. That ship is this one, a sketch of Le which was the first commercial vessel of the New World. On August 7th, 1679, Le Griffon and a crew of 34 set sail across Lake Erie and up the Detroit River. And just a few days later, on August 10th, it reached the mouth of the Detroit River. Trade along the river started to grow, and by 1701, the city of Detroit began. Now, for many young ones, oh, there's a harmonica here. So excited. For many young ones, this is the first time they will see these tall ships, but it's not the first time these ships made their way to Detroit. In fact, the last time was in 2001. The tall ships visited Detroit, making a big splash along our skyline. Originally, the series began in 2001 on the Great Lakes and saw vessels from 6 countries and visited 7 U.S. and Canadian ports. The first challenge saw vessels from 6 countries visiting those 7 different U.S. and Canadian ports. Now, more than 20 ships visited Detroit between July 18th to the 22nd, just before Detroit's 300th birthday celebration. More than 1 million people came to see the ships. The tall ships along the Detroit River are now part of that very Great Lakes Challenge. It's an annual event that moves around the Great Lakes and coasts of North America, bringing hundreds of thousands of visitors to watch sailing races and meet the crews and to learn about the maritime history in the Great Lakes. All righty, a live look behind me and all around me. There's so many things to see and do and talk about. When we come back here on Local 4, we're looking at yet another live picture from our friends in Windsor. We are actually going to take a trip on board one of these tall ships and talk to one of the folks whose mission it is to tell us their stories.
forewarned weather with Exact Track 4D.
And good Friday morning, everybody. After sunshine the last few days and an isolated thunderstorm, continuing a little bit of relief in the air quality index as we head throughout our Friday, back into the moderate range today. So you're probably seeing a little bit of haze in the atmosphere as you're waking up this morning. No air quality alert for today, but you may need to see a little bit of that haze as you grab those sunglasses with some of that sunshine heading throughout our Friday. Exact Track 40 radar this morning, a clean sweep to start the morning, but off to the northwest of Metro Detroit, north of Grand Rapids. I've been watching an area of thunderstorms this morning continue to work off to the north and east into the northern end of the state. So while we're dry to start today, much like we've seen the past couple days, I am going to keep the option open for an isolated thunderstorm this afternoon and into this evening. 70 degrees this morning here in downtown Detroit, so a little warmer today than we've been the past few mornings, all thanks to that south-southeast wind at about 3 miles an hour. That southerly flow, thanks to a warm front off to the west of Metro Detroit, lifting to the north, northern Illinois into Wisconsin and over Lake Michigan. That's going to increase that southerly flow today and bring in that summer heat and humidity as we go throughout our Friday through the weekend and into early next week as well. Extreme heat alerts already up into the Midwestern United States from Minnesota all the way down to Oklahoma, Texas, Arkansas, northwestern Louisiana, and even into New Mexico and Arizona, where Phoenix is under an extreme heat warning for today. Not expecting heat advisories for Metro Detroit, but it is going to be much hotter and much more humid as we go from today and into the upcoming weekend. Clouds and radar forecast keeps us dry. Lots of sunshine all the way through lunchtime today. But once we get past 2 to 3 o'clock this afternoon, we will start watching the radar for that isolated thunderstorm. I do think most places will stay dry, and we may even hang on to it until about 10 to 11 o'clock tonight. What I am keeping my eyes on is north of the region overnight. Clouds and radar forecasts suggesting a decaying line of thunderstorms moving into central and northern Michigan and clipping the thumb before sunrise tomorrow morning. So areas from Sandusky on north may see an isolated shower or thunderstorm after midnight tonight and before sunrise tomorrow morning. But I think the rest of us, a little bit of cloud cover, otherwise mainly clear skies expected overnight tonight and into early on Saturday morning. We keep the dry weather around until early next week, late Monday night through Wednesday. That's when we start to ramp up those thunderstorm chances. Until then, summer still in full effect. 90s on the way Saturday all the way through Monday. But starting today, once you factor in the humidity, heat index values, 90 degrees or better, and we could head for the mid to upper 90s for heat index values from Sunday and into early next week on Monday. 70s in the morning, we're into the 80s by lunchtime, upper 80s for a daytime high with that isolated thunderstorm this afternoon. Low to mid 90s through the weekend and into early next week before those storm chances arrive, and we're still into the upper 80s and drying things out by the time we get to Thursday.
From downtown Detroit, Local 4 Live starts right now.
Hey there, everybody. Welcome back to Local 4 Live on location. That's the whole point of Local 4 Live, is taking you someplace live. We are live right now on the Empire Sandy, which is a beautiful tall ship currently docked here on the Detroit River. Thomas is a captain, not necessarily of this ship, but of many others. You've been a relief captain, you say?
A relief
For
captain?
how long?
Oh, 25 years.
Okay, so but you're only 27, so.
I know.
First of all, can you explain to me what captaining a ship like this is like?
It is one of those things that is absolutely incredible, sometimes terrifying,
sure,
and always a joy.
Yeah. You know, we all, or many of us, have seen the movies or the films or the TV shows where the sails are whipping around and people are screaming and the lightning is coming down. Does that happen sometimes?
Hopefully not. Hopefully not, especially the screaming part or the confusion. We don't like confusion.
No, that'd be a bad thing,
that's
right?
bad.
Yeah. But in all seriousness, during inclement weather, what do you do?
It depends on the weather.
Okay.
It depends on what kind of vessel you're on, and what your options are too.
Sure. Okay. So again, you've been doing this for just a short amount of time.
Yeah.
How much fun is this? No matter what ship you're on, or no matter what port you're docked at.
Well, I've been in Great Lakes ports all over, mostly in Lake Michigan.
This is the best one, right?
I just got here, and I think you might be right. Yeah, definitely. And absolutely enjoyed, every one of them.
Yeah. We can take a short walk here on the Empire Sandy, too.
Okay.
You had also mentioned that, a hobby, career, or both, that you spent a lot of your time just kind of talking about the history and the love of all these ships.
Mm-hmm.
Silly question, but why?
Well, I started out in Chicago.
Okay.
And there was an old ship, an old Chesapeake Bay oyster boat called the Charlotte Ann.
Okay.
She was built in 1888.
Okay.
And
she's a few years old then.
Yeah. I was a folk singer at the time and still am.
Okay.
And my old partner and I just basically came up with a design for a career. We are going to sail, and we're going to sing about sailing. And I've been doing that since the late 80s.
Okay.
Okay. And it's been absolutely incredible. I've traveled the world doing this. It's a lot of fun.
Yeah.
The retirement plan has a bit to be desired. But the rest
is that
of
a 401k match?
Not even close. But the perks are absolutely incredible.
What do you want people to know about, these vessels and the history of them?
Well, as I said, I grew up in Chicago. I had no idea that back in the 1880s in Chicago, you would have 200 or 300 ships like this in port all the time.
Right.
There were 16 or 1,800 sailing ships like this on the Great Lakes.
Mm-hmm.
They were kind of like the tractor trailer of the 19th century.
Sure.
And it's a huge part of our heritage that really, I don't know, you're never really taught in elementary school or middle school.
We see some photos, but that's about it. Yeah.
Very rarely.
Right.
But that's changing, I think, actually.
It is, yeah. Photographer extraordinaire Eric is kind of showing us around here. What does it take, and what kind of skills do you need to be able to man rigs like this?
I think the ability to get along with people, to live in very cramped quarters, to actually one of my mates once upon a time was asked that question. He said, basically, do your job, don't complain, and take the smaller piece of chicken. And if you can do that, the captains and the officers will train you to do the rest of it.
Right.
Also, there's a lot of ships here where you can volunteer on.
Right.
When I was on Friends Goodwill out of Michigan, out of South Haven, our oldest volunteer was 80.
No kidding.
We celebrated his 80th birthday crossing Lake Michigan.
Wow.
And so you're never too old to run away to sea, depending on the ship. But I would definitely go to tallshipsamerica.com, take a look at all the different tall ships that are around, and I think you'll find a place.
Can you kind of paint a picture for me what it's like when you've got one of these beautiful ships out there in the Great Lakes or anywhere?
Mm-hmm. Well, one of the things that you first realize is how quiet it can be. When I was running a couple of boats in Chicago, we would take kids out, and the first thing we would do is we would get maybe a mile away from shore, and we'd turn off the engine and do nothing for about 2 minutes. And there were a lot of times kids had never heard silence. Isn't it amazing?
Wow.
Yeah. So that was the first thing. And then after a while, you get kind of used to the motion of the boat. I mean, you can even feel it here at the dock, but it's just an exquisite feeling.
I'm curious, after you spend so much time out at sea, once you walk on land, how long does it take you to walk normally again?
It depends on how long you've been at sea.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's minutes, sometimes it's the whole day. But yeah.
Like you had a little too much rum, right?
Oh, well, yeah, that's true.
Okay, you're also carrying something with you. What is that?
Well, if you do Music of the Sea, you're expected to have a squeeze box of some kind.
Okay.
It's a concertina.
Concertina.
And this particular one, this one's about 40 years old, and there's a tune about sailors coming into port. And when they come into port, they start spending their money like a sailor. And until the money runs out, the hospitality's great. But from what I've seen in Detroit so far, the hospitality is amazing. And I'll be playing this and other instruments actually all weekend.
Okay.
And we're open from 10 to 6. It's $25 only to come and tour all the ships. And these ships are really magnificent.
Do you want to give us a little concert
Sure.
here? Okay.
Ships may come and ships may go, wherever the sea doth roll. Each sailor lad, just like his daddy, loves the flowing bowl. A trip ashore he does adore, with a girl that's plump and round. When your money's all gone, it's the same old song. Get up, Chuck John, sit down. Come along, you jolly brave boys, that's more grog in the jar. Oh, pal, the briny ocean with the jolly roving tar. Now when Jack gets old and weather beat, too old to muck about, in some grog shop they'll let him stop till late bells calls him out. He'll reach his eyes up to the sky, saying, boys, we're homeward bound. But when your money's all gone, it's the same old song. Get up, Jack John, sit down. Come along, you jolly brave boys, that's my grog in the jar. Oh, pal, the briny ocean with the jolly roving tar.
Oh, incredible. Thomas, thank you so much. It was great to meet you. Thank you so much. Okay, when we come back here at Local 4 Live, some more news headlines, some more weather, but some more tall ships. We'll be right back. their phone. Welcome back, everybody, to Local 4 Live. We are live this Friday here on the Detroit riverfront as you're looking live at Drone 4 at one of the beautiful tall ships docked here for sale, Detroit. I do want to bring you some more information about the actual ships that you're looking at right now, thanks to Drone 4. And here behind me, the Ernestina Morrissey. That's a ship that comes to us from New Bedford, Massachusetts. This tall ship was originally launched in 1894. The ship was part of a fishing fleet and was later used to bring immigrants to the U.S. It has since been restored and is used now for training, private charters, deep sea voyages, and adventures. It's 115 feet tall. Then there's the Pride of Baltimore. In fact, it's number 2. It's based in Baltimore, typically cruising the East Coast along with parts of Canada and Europe. It's available as a charter and is used as an ambassador for the state of Maryland. It has a rig height of 107 feet. Our coverage of the tall ships will continue, but first we do need to get some other headlines in for you this morning. We're going to start with an alarming trend from the CDC showing drowning deaths are on the rise. It comes as several drownings happened in the past couple of months right here in Metro Detroit. Data reports on average the U.S. sees 11 drowning deaths per day. This morning, we're taking a look to see if the work that's going into keeping families safe at our area beaches. Shante Passmore has a lot more from Kensington Metro Park. We'll look at life-saving resources that everybody should know.
Hey there, there's so much to see and do here at the Metro Parks, whether it's the splash pads, the water slides, kayaking, paddleboarding, anyone. Park officials, they want us to enjoy these amenities, but they want us to do it safely. A look at what they're doing to prevent drownings.
Amy McMillan loves the great outdoors, the water so inviting at Maple Beach. But one thing troubles her.
On average, throughout the entire region, about 60% of kids don't know how to swim. When you're looking at households with incomes of $50,000 or less a year, over 70% of kids don't know how to swim.
Go! So about 3 years ago, the Metro Park CEO helped launch the Water Safety Initiative, Everyone in the Pool. It offers free swim lessons and life jacket loaner stations through the help of its community partners. While the resources target kids, it's also for adults.
You take the life jacket that is the right size for you or your child, and it tells you on the back what the right size is. You put it over their head, and then you just put the belt around, you click it in, and you tie it, and they're ready to go.
New this summer, Lucas devices. The machines perform CPR utilized by officers to resuscitate people until they're either revived or taken to a hospital. Then there are the rescue boards and throw bags. When you grab the throw bag,
an alarm will go off so that everyone knows that there is an emergency and people can call 911 and our police will come immediately to the scene if they are not already here.
If the person is further out on the water, the rescue board is meant to help float the person back to shore until help arrives.
So this is part of a 5-stage plan. We're at stage 3? Where do we go from here?
Well, we feel like our goal is we want every single kid in southeastern Michigan safe in the water. We want every single child to be able to swim.
And here's the really cool part. They want to provide close to 4,000 free swim lessons to kids in Southeast Michigan, and they're this close to doing it. They've also given out hundreds of life jackets to kids in our area. The whole point of all of this is for folks to come out to the Metro beaches and have a great time, but being safe while out in the water. We're at Kensington Metro Park. I'm Shante Passmore, Local 4.
All right, Shante, thank you so much. A live look at the White House this morning as President Trump's tariffs have now been in effect for more than 24 hours, and it looks like Americans are about to pay more for imported goods. The highest tariffs this country has seen in nearly a century are in effect. President Trump's new import taxes target more than 60 countries and the EU. The overall average tariff rate will go up more than 17%. A wide variety of products will be hit, including appliances, cars, food, furniture, toys, and electronics. So what does that look like for you? Well, the Yale Budget Lab says Americans will pay on average 18% more for imported goods as companies pass those tariffs along to you, the consumer. We're going to see how the president's tariffs, including those in Syria, Laos, and Myanmar, will impact the markets. A live look at the board right now, currently up 0.18%. But as I say every single morning long, it's tough to see what the day is going to look like in the first 15 minutes or so. All of this coming after 2 straight days ending in the red. Investors are watching closely to see how these tariffs will affect companies, prices, and supply chains. Well, it is a swimming pool, a lake, shorts and t-shirts kind of weekend, or the tall ships. The forewarned weather team is tracking a toasty and humid weekend forecast. We're going to bring you that next here on Local 4 Live. A live look at the tall ships thanks to our friends in Windsor. This is Sail Detroit on Local 4 Live. Welcome back to Local 4 Live, everybody. Live looks right now at the tall ships and a lot of the volunteers and crew members that are getting ready for Sail Detroit. They've already gone through some security sweeps and some preps here. The actual gates open at 10 o'clock, so that is about 13 minutes from now. Sail Detroit brings back all of these tall ships for the first time since 2001 to Detroit. And now you're looking at Drone 4 showing you 2 of the tall ships here docked. In fact, one of them, the Alliance, will be taking those interested on rides through the Detroit River. It sounds like that might be sold out already, which is a bummer because so many of you are just finding out about this, but that's okay. You can still come down here and enjoy all of the tall ships that are here. Let's check in with Brian for a look at your forecast because it is hot and humid.
Now, forewarned weather with Exact Track 4D.
And good Friday morning, everybody. After sunshine the last few days and an isolated thunderstorm, continuing a little bit of relief in the air quality index as we head throughout our Friday, back into the moderate range today. So you're probably seeing a little bit of haze in the atmosphere as you're waking up this morning. No air quality alert for today, but you may need to see a little bit of that haze as you grab those sunglasses with some of that sunshine heading throughout our Friday. Exact Track 40 radar this morning, a clean sweep to start the morning, but off to the northwest of Metro Detroit, north of Grand Rapids. I've been watching an area of thunderstorms this morning continue to work off to the north and east into the northern end of the state. So while we're dry to start today, much like we've seen the past couple days, I am going to keep the option open for an isolated thunderstorm this afternoon and into this evening. 70 degrees this morning here in downtown Detroit, so a little warmer today than we've been the past few mornings, all thanks to that south-southeast wind at about 3 miles an hour. That southerly flow, thanks to a warm front off to the west of Metro Detroit, lifting to the north, northern Illinois into Wisconsin and over Lake Michigan. That's going to increase that southerly flow today and bring in that summer heat and humidity as we go throughout our Friday through the weekend and into early next week as well. Extreme heat alerts already up into the Midwestern United States from Minnesota all the way down to Oklahoma, Texas, Arkansas, northwestern Louisiana, and even into New Mexico and Arizona, where Phoenix is under an extreme heat warning for today. Not expecting heat advisories for Metro Detroit, but it is going to be much hotter and much more humid as we go from today and into the upcoming weekend. Clouds and radar forecast keeps us dry. Lots of sunshine all the way through lunchtime today. But once we get past 2 to 3 o'clock this afternoon, we will start watching the radar for that isolated thunderstorm. I do think most places will stay dry, and we may even hang on to it until about 10 to 11 o'clock tonight. What I am keeping my eyes on is north of the region overnight. Clouds and radar forecasts suggesting a decaying line of thunderstorms moving into central and northern Michigan and clipping the thumb before sunrise tomorrow morning. So areas from Sandusky on north may see an isolated shower or thunderstorm after midnight tonight and before sunrise tomorrow morning. But I think the rest of us, a little bit of cloud cover, otherwise mainly clear skies expected overnight tonight and into early on Saturday morning. We keep the dry weather around until early next week, late Monday night through Wednesday. That's when we start to ramp up those thunderstorm chances. Until then, summer still in full effect. 90s on the way Saturday all the way through Monday. But starting today, once you factor in the humidity, heat index values, 90 degrees or better, and we could head for the mid to upper 90s for heat index values from Sunday and into early next week on Monday. 70s in the morning, we're into the 80s by lunchtime, upper 80s for a daytime high with that isolated thunderstorm this afternoon. Low to mid 90s through the weekend and into early next week before those storm chances arrive, and we're still into the upper 80s and drying things out by the time we get to Thursday.
Thank you, Brian. I can feel your jealousy from the studio. We're going to wrap things up here for our Sail Detroit Tall Ship Show when we come back. But first, let's take another look thanks to Drone 4 hovering above these beautiful, majestic ships. When we come back, I'm going on a walking trip. Let's see what we can find because the lines are already forming to get in. Hey everybody, welcome back to Local 4 Live. As promised, we have moved from our sets over on that side of the porta potties. It's back there, I promise you, over into the line. Now, we were actually kind of wondering that this is a ticketed event. I mean, you can't buy them at the gate, but we thought maybe there won't be a line. We were wrong. Look at all the people that have lined up here for this Sail Detroit Tall Ships event. In fact, we're next to one of the tall ships as we speak, and this little one came to check out the ships too. Is she gonna like it? Does she swim? We'll find out. All right, I'm going to put you on the spot live on TV here. Ooh, silly question, but why did you want to come out here?
I brought seniors out with me.
You brought seniors? How many?
30. Well, we had 30, but now we're down to about 28.
What happened to the other two?
They canceled.
Oh, okay, but they're okay?
Yes.
Okay, they didn't fall in the Detroit River?
No.
They thought it was going to be a hot day, so they didn't want to come.
I get that. That's all right. Okay.
Dearborn Heights.
From Dearborn Heights Parks and Rec. Yes. Welcome to Detroit and Sail Detroit. Okay, who else wants to be on TV? You look like you want to do. All right. Are we excited about this?
Yes.
Why are you so excited?
Well, it's a tall ship, you know.
Well, that's it. It's a tall ship. What more do you have to say?
It's like a pirate ship.
It's a pirate ship. Okay, who can do a good pirate accent out here? A little pirate. You can?
I don't know.
You don't know? Give me your best pirate. I love live TV. They can't say no. Okay, silly question. Why'd you guys want to come out today?
I want to see the
I've never seen
ship.
You want to see that? Okay, which one's the tallest?
I don't know which one's the tallest, but they're all pretty cool.
They are pretty cool, right? Okay,
Yeah.
what about you, sir? What are you looking forward to?
Oh, looking forward to seeing now all of them.
Yeah.
They're really cool.
Is it the ship? Is it the history? Or is it everything?
Oh, I just want to see the ship. I've never been on any of them, so looking forward to going on them.
Maybe we'll let you take a little trip down there.
Well, you never know.
All right, continuing my trek down the Detroit riverfront. Who's down here? The youngest one I've seen so far. Come on over. What are you doing out here? Are you looking forward to this?
Yeah, I'm just mainly trying to hang out with my grandma and my mom.
Oh, you're okay. So did they make you come, or you wanted to come? You're live on TV.
It's like both, basically.
It's both.
Yeah.
Okay, so this is, I'm assuming, Mom and Grandma over here. Are you excited about this?
Yes, I am.
Why?
Because I've never seen the tall ships before.
Okay. Have you? Is this your first time too?
This is my first time too. I'm excited to be here.
All right.
I'm glad to be here.
And why?
I've never seen them, and I'm just excited to see how tall they are, and it's a beautiful day. Glad to be here.
Yeah, okay, now when you get aboard the Empire Sandy, I want you to look inside the galley, recognize that there's some mirror disco ball in there, and ask why.
Okay.
I'm just going to leave it at that. You find out for yourselves, because I don't know either. All right, what are you guys doing out here? Looking forward to this?
Getting a suntan.
Right. Yeah, you doing okay up there?
Yeah, doing fine. Is it red yet?
Not yet.
Not yet.
Give it time, it will be.
Sure,
Right.
there you
Okay.
go.
Now you're the youngest one on here. This is the youngest one. What's your name, my man?
Griffin.
Griffin? That's an awesome name. Can I get a high five? Sweet. So what do you think about those really tall ships back there?
Cool.
They're cool. Do you want to hold this? You can have it. There you go. Tell me a story.
I don't know one.
Tell me your favorite.
Who's your favorite?
Lions.
The Lions. And who's number 14?
St. Brown.
There you go. There you go. Do you think we can get him out here and maybe captain one of these tall ships?
Maybe.
Which is faster, a tall ship or Amun-Ra?
Amun-Ra.
That's right. That's my answer. Good job, buddy. All right, and one more interview. Who wants to be on TV? You do, because you got a big smile on your face. You know, it's a big smile. Are you excited about this?
I'm very excited.
And why is that?
Because they haven't been here for 10 years.
Right. Longer than that. It's been 2001.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's so very excited for the city that they came back.
Very cool. All right, nice to meet you. Okay, producer Mary says we're out of time, all right? All right, that's going to do it here for Local 4 Live. Look at all the people that are just hanging out, taking their selfies. How's your selfie going back there? Good selfie, bad selfie? It was a great selfie, she says. A great one. All right, Local 4 Live continues as always on Local 4 Plus. Click on Detroit.com and on YouTube. Make it a great Friday and make sure you get out here to Sail Detroit. The tall ships docked in Detroit for the first time since 2001. As I said, make it a great Friday. And if you're going outside, make sure you bring lots of water and lots of sunscreen. Take care, everybody.